Fortnite Chapter 6 Battle Pass is going to be filled with brand new characters who are going to be here on the island to help us because something evil is arriving on this island. And the last time she was here, the entire island got completely destroyed. I'm obviously talking about Herald, and yes, it looks like she's going to be our main villain of Chapter 6. Because if you remember, we never defeated Herald after she destroyed the Chapter 3 island by becoming part of the reality tree. We saw her on the Chapter 4 map, but she was missing. Also, we don't know the whereabouts of the 7 still to this day. Last time we heard anything about the 7 was by Amy the robot, when she told us that she's going to the reality where they're stuck to save them. Now, to understand this, we're gonna have to go all the way back to Chapter 3, Season 1. I'm giving away a free skin to a lucky subscriber. All you have to do is subscribe if you want to win, and if you want to help me out, use code SMJM and like this video. Now, the reason why we end up on the Chapter 3 island in the first place was because the Chapter 2 got completely destroyed after a huge and long battle against the lost reality. And when we arrived on the Chapter 3 island, it was quite clear that this chapter was going to be themed around the 7. There was literally a statue of the Foundation on this island. And also, this was the very first time the 7 got full control of the Fortnite island. But it did not take very long for that to be challenged by the Imagine Order, because a bunch of drills start showing up on the island. It was obviously the Imagine Order drilling from the Chapter 2 map. And then in Chapter 3 Season 2, we had a massive war between the IO and the 7. The war went on for the entire season. It was quite clear slowly the 7 was winning this war. The 7 had a huge advantage because this was their side of the island. If the war took place on the Chapter 2 map, things would have been a lot different. The thing is, IO already knew this. That's why they were cooking a plan, and this fight with the 7 was just a distraction. Just before the end of Chapter 3 Season 2, the IO erected a giant collider in the middle of the island, powered by the 0 point. Their plan was to basically destroy every single living being on this island and then restart everything. But the 7 had a plan to counter this as well, because they were building a mech on their second headquarters, which was on the moon. With the help of Agent Jones, the 7 attacked the Imagine Order's collider. They managed to get in and not just destroy the collider, take down Dr. Sloan, but also take down their leader, Geno. Basically ending this organization which was founded thousands and thousands of years ago by Geno. This was the end of the IO. And we celebrated in Chapter 3 Season 3, thinking the evil was gone. But little did we know at the time, this was the beginning of the end, because someone mysterious was cooking a plan to take over the entire island. Now, during the Vibin season, we see a bunch of these exotic plants, mushroom, and this giant exotic tree on the island. For some reason, no one really questions where these come from. We're all so excited that the Imagine Order has been defeated, we didn't even think about it. But throughout Season 3, we start to see some weird events take place. For example, roots start to show up at different locations. The 7 investigated and found out that these roots was basically connected to the reality tree. Also, for some reason, the tree was harnessing power from the 0 point. 7 were very suspicious of this mysterious tree, and in Chapter 3 Season 4, that suspicion became a threat, because as they were investigating this chrome substance, it starts to come alive and attack them, basically turning them all into chrome. Paradigm manages to escape using the 0 point, and then it is all revealed. It turns out the attack was done by this creature called Herald. We don't really know the identification of Herald we think she's working for the Lost Reality. And then we find out exactly why she was connecting different locations on the island using the roots of the reality tree. She basically wanted to turn everything on the island into chrome and destroy it. That is exactly what happened during the live event. But luckily, the 0 Point reconstructed the Fortnite island, and then when we arrived on the chapter 4 map, we find out that Herald was still there, but there was a hole at the back, meaning she escaped and is hiding. Also during chapter 4 season 1, we are introduced to this character called Evie. Now she's basically an AI robot. She used to work with the scientists. She was convinced that the Foundation and the Seven were still alive. She creates this giant portal gate, just powerful enough to send a bunch of tiny robots to different reality to look for the Seven. And they all came back with a negative and a positive result. The positive was that they were successfully able to locate the whereabouts of the Seven, but they also came with a message saying that the Seven were going through the darkest fate imaginable. So clearly, wherever Herald took them, they're being tortured and maybe even corrupted. Amy the robot constructs a robotic armor, and she promises us that she will return with the Seven after saving them. Throughout chapter 4, we also start to see rumors of the Lost Reality returning and attacking our island. In fact, there was someone on the island called Triarch Nox, and he attacked this organization called the Peace Syndicate, hacked their system and deleted information they had on the Lost Reality. The thing is, they were supposed to be arriving that season. In fact, there was this trailer that was made. You can see the Lost Reality arriving and kidnapping the 0 Point. After the destruction of the chapter 3 map, for some reason, Fortnite delayed it. I think they delayed it to bring OG Fortnite. I think OG Fortnite was a last minute decision. I think we are going to see their return in chapter 6. Now, obviously, at the end of chapter 4, Agent Jones and Dr. Sloan steals the time machine, goes back to chapter 1. Initially, their plan was to go back in time and restart everything. But as soon as he got there, he noticed that this wasn't the actual OG Fortnite map. This was a map from an alternate universe. And that's the reason why it wasn't exactly the same, because there was no volcano, no polar peak. Tilted towers look different. Even the battle pass skins look different. Also, to make things weird, the seasons was moving extremely fast. Jones and Sloan decide to go ahead with this the end event, and they end up in chapter 5. The thing is, this chapter 5 map was a chapter 2 map from an alternate universe. That is because of the similarities between the two. For example, in chapter 2 season 1 and 2, the theme was a war between two different factions, and that's exactly what happened in chapter 5 as well. There was a war between two factions. Chapter 2 was the introduction of Midas, and chapter 5 was the return of Midas. Chapter 2 season 4 was Marvel themed, and obviously chapter 5 season 4 is Marvel themed as well. Now we know that chapter 5 is going to end at the end of this season, and obviously when chapter 2 ended, we ended up on the chapter 3 island, meaning after the chapter 5 map, chapter 6 is going to be themed around chapter 3. Now recently chapter 3 was added to the file by Fortnite. Now this makes a lot of sense. If you think about it, this all makes sense. Herald being missing, the Seven who are missing as well, and Amy the robot has gone to save them all. She's most likely going to return next season. We also know that Sloan is still around as well. Now, I think chapter 6 is going to be themed around a remix version of chapter 3. A bunch of these service skins got leaked. Now we believe that these are going to be included in the battle pass. We might also get this corrupted version of the Seven in the battle pass as well. And also most likely we are going to see this different version of Herald in the battle pass as well, because it looks like she is going to be our main villain in chapter 6. Now so far we've gotten pretty much every single huge anime skin except for Luffy. Goofy, I think he is most likely going to be included in the battle pass as well. Since Disney owns half of Fortnite now, most likely we will see more Disney skins as well. I will keep you guys updated, so please subscribe, use code SMJM, and like this video.